You okay?
Hello. Hi, Ann.
Hello.
Oh, PM Artist Studios here. Hi.
Hi.
I was watching you guys today.
Me
Oh, those
too.
butterflies. I love them. So Ann's going to be talking about some interesting things today. And I'm going to just be working on some interesting things today and maybe talking a little bit with her. So I'm going to um, go ahead and do something until a few more people get in. Is that okay, Ann? And
Oh,
then and
absolutely.
then
Yep.
you could do your spiel or whatever. So,
Yes. Well,
uh,
I'm hoping it's going to be interesting. I was
oh,
just,
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, because
yeah,
she, everybody wonders why it is that they get enabled so easily.
and Deb asked me what I was thinking of doing, and I was thinking about enabling and inspiring, and so I kind of titled my part of the stream to to be enabled or not to be enabled, like to be or not to be enabled. And I was thinking, what's the enabling and inspiring? They're kind of go hand in hand. And I went back this afternoon and went through my book cases, um, where I have all my art stuff, and I started looking at various books that I've been enabled to purchase. And then you have to remember who did the enabling. I mean, and so many of the things I pulled, and I'm going to share some of them with you, um, are Dee Dee inspired. Um, I started watching Dee Dee when she was still on Ustream, and I was just starting out. And Deb and I were talking about, how the more we're into this. Um, yes, one must have a spiel. Yes. Hi, Mary Lou.
Hi,
And
Mary Lou.
so I was buying everything because I didn't, I just was buying everything. I would literally be watching, I would have two devices, one where I was watching the stream and the other one kind of, a direct transfusion line into Amazon. And it was like, instant. And so I have acquired a whole bunch of various different types of books. And so, uh-oh.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you
I'm still
scared
here.
me.
Yeah, we had a little boo boo while ago, so she thought I was gone again. Well,
What's that?
now that I
Oh,
made you big, you stopped talking.
well, you see, I got scared because I said, "Oh my God!" I mean, not that I'm scared. I'm looking to my left. And I'm thinking, "What's that? What's that pink keyboard over there?" And that's my iPad. It just looks pink.
Looks pink to me too.
Yeah. Well,
Hi, Miss Lynn. I know that's not your name. I
hi,
call you Miss
Lena.
L.
Hi, Lena.
I call her
That's
Miss
another
L.
one I should. Oh my gosh, we got into Linda Berry. Was it yesterday, Linda Berry? And I got out my Linda Berry books. I bought that syllabus Linda Berry book a while ago, and I think Dee Dee inspired me to buy that. And then I bought the comic book one, and I love Linda Berry. I'm going to share with you. I actually started doing Linda Berry style taking notes. So, because it's just so inspiring to kind of mess around with her style, and then I think Lena just talked about it, and I texted Lena back, and I said, "Yeah, I know Linda Berry." And Lena went, "You do?" And then Janet Young popped in. She said she was actually looking at the comic, How to Draw Comics Linda Berry book when Lena was talking about it. So it was a kind of interesting coincidence that we were all, focused in on Linda Berry. I've watched a couple of her YouTube videos too, and they're really fascinating. She's a really inspiring. There's that word. But I watch a lot of YouTubers, and Patricia and Mariah are relatively new to my purview or my circle of YouTubers, and I've enjoyed watching you guys so much. And I was watching, you guys, Patricia jelly plating And thinking about the mess that I made last Sunday for 2 hours, right? And 2
Well, we
hours.
had fun. We had fun.
Yeah, I think I finally got one successful pull after 2 hours, and finally figured out. And then I did a couple of after that just to make sure that I kind of remembered. I almost was going to start today with a successful pull, but I was so afraid that it would not be a successful pull that I figured, nah, I won't. I'm not going to push my luck.
Well,
Yes.
Anne, I'm going to show this one thing here, and
Oh,
then
go ahead. Yeah, I'm just.
and then after this, I'm just going to work on stuff in the background, and I'll let you go on. So I'll get this out of the way first.
No, please do.
So anyway, this my dog just was spayed. So since she wouldn't leave herself alone, quit licking, they put this collar thing on her.
You need to make yourself big.
Oh yes, I do. You're right. Yes, I do.
Because I don't have the collar of shame.
Okay. Hi, Carol. Anyway, it's one of these dog collar things, which she had on like maybe 15 minutes after we left the place, and then I took it off of her. So anyway, I have a template that I use all the time for corners and tabs and rounded corners and cut off corners that I use when I'm making tags, and it's getting pretty raggedy. So I thought, well, shoot, I'm just gonna make this because it's really nice thick plastic that is cuttable. So I drew that on here, and I'll cut this out. And then since I had more left, I have these tag sizes that I use a lot. And if I'm using a piece of whatever kind of board that's an odd size, or let's say I'm using, I don't have one laying here, using a cereal box or something like that.
Mhm.
I like to go in and just trace around it. It's so much easier than measuring. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out too. And then after that, I'm just going to be working on some little journals, some envelopes, maybe some tags that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks or so, and just continue to work on those while we listen to Anne go on about her things that she's talking
My
about.
spiel, right.
Her
That's a
spiel.
brilliant idea. I have die cuts for all of that stuff, and that's a pain in the butt, to get out the die cuts. And that would be much easier because I save a whole bunch of stuff to make tags, and I was cranking the lever to make some tags, but that's much easier than just making those templates. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, so it's thick enough to where I can go around it easily.
Hi, Mary Lou, Carol.
So,
yeah, and that material is perfect.
Well, Mariah, I thought it would make it easier to find because now it's going to be clear, and how clear stuff gets lost. So I thought, and I'm going to measure these and write the measurements on them, but I haven't done that yet. So
right,
just a cheap tool.
Well, you had to pay how much for the collar of shame?
$6 for this thing.
And you only had it on the dog, so the vet could see you had it on, and then as soon as you got home, you took it off.
Well, she was, and I had it on her until I got her in the car, and then I wrapped her up and I held her all the way home. So,
okay.
I think I'm gonna do this with the knife because I'm afraid I'm not gonna cut it straight, and then everything I'll make will be crooked.
Okay, but she's come through the surgery without any issues, correct?
Yep, so far she's been wearing a onesie. I cannot see. She's been wearing a onesie, so to keep her from licking. That's why I didn't really need the collar.
Now, where did you come up with the idea about putting a onesie on your? I think it's hysterical. Hi, Julie.
A lot of people do it.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people do it. Keeps them from, licking and
gnawing at the Otherwise, they'll have those stitches pulled out in no time.
Well, actually, the stitches, I cannot see for this glare. Good grief. The stitches are inside, and then outside is glued.
Oh, okay.
But if they lick the glue off, then that can cause, if they lick it open, that can cause problems.
So you don't have to take her back to have stitches removed. They're self-dissolving, I'm assuming?
Yes. They will absolve. They will dissolve. They're going to be absolved too.
Okay. There you go, absolving her stitches. Well, I was talking, as Deb said earlier, I was thinking about enabling and inspiring and buying stuff. And, now I'm not as quick on the Amazon trigger, so to speak. But, last week, I think Dee Dee was, you're going to hear me saying Dee Dee's name a lot, but she is an inspiration. Hi, Natty. And she she had a brand new journal, and she said she wanted to break it in. She messed it up so you wouldn't be, if you have a brand new sketchbook or whatever, so you're more apt to use it. So she did the smack and smack and drag, right? Smack and drag. And so I had just gotten a new sketchbook, and so I smacked and dragged. I kind of went through it, and this is kind of, well, that's not smack and drag, that's just ink, but kind of, of course, you think I can find a page now that I smacked and dragged? No, of course not. But I did a lot of, and I had trouble. I couldn't get the drag, couldn't get that down. That was not successful with the drag part, so I just smacked. So these are mostly, well, that's a drag, and that's a scribble.
So Anne's only a smacker. She's not a dragger.
Yeah, I could smack it down, and there's a drag, but a smack and dragging, yes. And some of them were, but I got a fluffy book, and now I can just rip up stuff and throw it. Some of them are, some of them came out really cool. So,
hi, Nettie.
And, hi, Nettie. And how's Zeus? I think Zeus, got his shots, right? I don't think he was. But, so that's an inspiration that, Dee Dee kind of did the smack and drag thing, and I kind of did that along with her, and took out my iZink, my sprays, Seth Apter, which I was inspired to buy by Robin McClendon. So. And probably the most recent purchase is this. Dee Dee. Hi, Brenda. Dee Dee showed this probably the beginning of April, and there's 365 days of creativity, but apparently Beth Schuler has. And then there's 365 days of nature, and then there's 365 days of art. And I was telling Deb that some of these books I actually wrote a date in. So I wrote a date in this because that was interesting. And Dee Dee just opened any page, but I'm more anal than that. So I started with day one and started copying some of the things. And I colored this in, did a swatch, but it's kind of fun. It's simple stuff. And it's not going to take you a whole lot of time. And so I've done a couple of days here. And Dee Dee did the fishes on her stream, and I did the parrot, and I tried to draw some faces, and I did these flowers. So anyway, this is chock full of goodness and fun. There's probably a whole bunch of books out here, out on the internet that are, like this. And I'll show you another one that I bought a long time ago, but it's really nicely made, and it kind of lies flat-ish. Yeah, it does, kind of, yeah. So that was the most recent inspiration. And then a while ago, not too long ago, and you can see where these things kind of are the same. This was another Dee Dee, 20 Ways to Draw Everything. And it's amazing. And I have a whole bunch of these to draw everything. And I struggle with drawing, and I keep on trying because everyone tells me that don't say you can't draw. Everybody can draw. I will, beg to disagree a little bit. But this is another fun book. So, clouds and such. You can see I've got lots of these. Now, this is something that Dee Dee introduced me, and I'm sure most of you guys already know this gentleman, but I was blown away when I was introduced to Nick Bantock.
Oh, Nick Bantock. Oh,
I mean, what a trip for me. Never heard of the guy. And then all of a sudden, Nick Bantock arrived. And the first thing that happened was that Dee Dee was talking about dubious documents. And it's a puzzle. And I immediately went out and got it. And how many of you familiar with dubious documents?
yes, I am.
Okay, all right. So the artwork in here is just phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
And the interesting thing is, if you Google like the answer to this puzzle, no one's given up the information. Everyone's kind of, I mean, it's interesting because no one's kind of saying, oh, this is the answer to this riddle. And we couldn't find it. So I'll just show you a couple of these because this is just.
Now,
So
Anne,
there's-
you realize, Anne, what you're doing, right?
Enabling. Yes, I'm a proud enabler. I bet you. So there's like 16 envelopes, and in each, hi, Kathy. And in each envelope is a clue, and it's a 14-word clue. But here's an envelope, and you open the envelope, and there's this gorgeous, I mean, gorgeous, as they would say on Long Island. It's absolutely gorgeous artwork. And somewhere here is a clue. And there's a hint, and then you look for these and you find the clue to the word. And then you go on to the next envelope. And when you're done, you have a phrase. That's the answer to the puzzle. So
And do you remember, or does it say on there how much that book cost originally?
it was not expensive. It was like $10.98 when I bought it on Amazon.
Wow.
I mean, it's just I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I took this to my friend's house. My friends I visit in Cape Canaveral. And we thought that this would be, well, I don't want you to see the answer. So we thought this would be a fun activity. Hi, Ampex. And Dee Dee said that she and Janet got on the phone. They each got a copy of it. They got on the phone and they solved the whole thing within a couple of hours. I know, right, Kathy? One of these little things is worth that. And it took us forever. Now, granted, we only worked on it when we got together, which is about once a month. And granted, we didn't start working on this after some drinking had taken place. I would think Mo and Sean have probably, by the time we attacked this, they probably have already gone through a bottle and a half, 2 bottles of wine, and myself had a couple of Tito's, and her son Eddie was there, right? And we worked on this, and we had a blast. We were taking notes, and we finally solved the riddle. And we had so much fun doing this over a long period of time. I kept on trying to find something that was similar to this. And believe me, there's nothing out there that comes close to this. There was another book.
He's an amazing artist too.
So I know. Really, I know as I found out.
Thanks, Aunt Beck. And hello to Kathy and Kimberly and Brenda. And I know I missed somebody else. Julie.
Yep, Julie, I said hi. Hey.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying not to interrupt too much.
No, that's all right. But if you just look at these, they're just gorgeous. And each one is another envelope with a clue. Now, we found out that on one of these, if you attempt this, we only one of them, the clue was on the envelope, not inside the envelope. And that took us a while to figure that one out. So he had another book. So dubious documents led to the trickster's hat. Are you familiar with this one?
I think I have seen it before, but not that much. You know, I realize it's his, but
no. And this is a mischievous apprenticeship in creativity. And there's a bunch of, it's not like a riddle that you have to solve, but it's a bunch of tasks that you need to do and where to start. And again, he's talking about creativity, and that's such an interesting word, and what does it mean? And he's got all of these stuff, and I've done a whole bunch of these. I've actually done a lot of these, and they're in various journals. But again, the artwork in here is just,
It's so inspiring.
it is. And freeing up the brain. There was actually one here where you had to do a collage using a postage stamp. So you had to, so it's a little tiny itsy bitsy postage stamp collage. And I did that. And again, it's just beautiful stuff. And then this is a lot of fun to work through. You make up your own country, and you draw a map of your own country, but just again, the artwork. And then this led, and I haven't read any of the Griffin and Sabine. I haven't read any of those. I know of them because of this, but I haven't even gotten into those. Because for me, if I bought one, I would have to have them all. I'd have to have the complete set. And I figured I can live without that. And then this one, creating curious collage, dubious documents, and other art from ephemera. Now, this book is supposedly a how-to book on how to create this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know whether anybody really could do this. This is a beautiful book. I mean, again, look at this stuff.
Years ago, years and years ago, I used to be in a couple of groups of, what do they call themselves? Where they did a lot of altered stuff, like they do altered books and do the little shrine things and all that kind of stuff, which I really wasn't that into that, but I was in the groups for some other reasons, and they were all head over heels for these books, and that's all they talked about all the time. And I never really looked at one other than just to look up the price. I don't remember what it was, but I thought it was too expensive at the time, so I never did get it. So that's how I'm familiar with them, just from hearing them all talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, this is his guide to inspirational work. And now he acts like, well, for us, he's obviously, I think he's in England. But he says, well, just go into an old bookstore and walk in the back and blow off some dust, and you can find these, these ephemera. Well, that's not, at least not where I live. But that's what he's saying. And let me just show you. Oh, that's for his mom. Isn't that sweet? Faux mail. And, this is, I guess you could find, I've got a 10-pound English note that I could add stuff to, take an old picture. I have some old ads that I just bought. I guess I could do something with them. But again, this is stuff that he has altered. And he talks about, I have a stamp. I have a llama stamp, which I attempted to just stamp the body of the llama and then stamp a fish on the head of it to kind of, duplicate what he's done here. But you just look at this, and this is, so he talks about, and then engravings, and the guy's brilliant. Maps, and I guess if you have Photoshop, you can add stuff on top of maps and do stuff like that. It's just, I can't tell you how many times I've gone through this and looked at it, and it's just amazing. It's just so
right,
beautiful.
Carol. It's expensive, or it is. It might be now. It was when I tried to look at them. They were expensive too. So Ann got a good deal on that one.
Well, I think Kathy said she saw it for $12.95. This book was much more expensive than that.
Yeah.
But the dubious document one was not that expensive. There you go. I know, Kathy, that's a hard one. You've got some Confederate money, because I know that old saying is the South shall rise again, but I don't know about that. But and I guess you could make scan a copy of it, but that wouldn't be the same as altering the original. And I could alter the 10-pound note, because Janet Nash told me that they don't use paper money in England anymore. It's like plastic or something. So that 10-pound note is not worth 10 pounds anymore. But I have, I think we all have these. I collect these when I get mail from Janet and people from, overseas, the airmail stickers. I have some of these in my little stamp thing. Yeah, it's going to rise when it and, but it's just, again, photocopies. I love this picture. This little guy just cracks me up. And again, printing on top of prints. And I have a jigsaw puzzle that I put together and that I glued. That's the first time I ever heard of Mod Podge. That's what you use to glue a jigsaw puzzle together. You coat it with Mod Podge. So this was this book, and it's just, well, let's see, what is this? What was this? It doesn't have a price on it, but the artwork in the Hi Dixie Doodles. I'm just ranting about the various books that I have that I've bought over the years that I've been enticed to buy, enabled to buy. Now, I was talking about, Dee Dee and her Society of Idea Collectors, and I've tried that a couple of times, but I never really clicked. But I guess one year the challenge was to pick a subject, just one thing that you were interested in, and then research it and take notes and do all of that, stuff. And I decided to do that. And at the same time, I had discovered Linda Berry and her syllabus, which is a composition notebook. And let me just get that just to show you, if you're not familiar with Linda Berry and her style. Her style is off the walls also. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I've never heard of her.
Doesn't take much to blow my mind, but.
Let's see. Dixie. Hi, Dixie.
And I love the way that it's produced. It looks like a syllabus. And so this was the first one I got. And Notes from an Accidental Professor. And this is just her style. And, there's lessons in here.
Oh, she reminds me of, what was that other gal? She put out a magazine. Oh, gosh, I have to think of it. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's all right. And then there's lessons in here. And, and she's dealing with students' confidence and stuff. And about, drawing. And then the one on the comic books, drawings from your day. So I started, when I would be sitting in a faculty meeting, I would start writing my notes in my like this style. So when I started to do the research, I chose, I think, communications or something. And I discovered this story about these two brothers that actually invented a language because their tribe didn't have a written language, and they had, their language was was kind of a bastardization of several dialects in the region. So these two brothers, they decided that they were going to create a language. And so I started, writing about it. And so my cover is not as decorated as Linda Berry's, at least not yet. But I haven't looked at this in years. But you'll see that I'm kind of copying her style. and I'm doing the who, and Dee Dee always said to ask who, why, when, the reporter questions. So I started doing the borders and doing examples, um, and I even did one of her little characters here. And written communication is the medium through which the message of the sender is conveyed with the help of written words. And that's kind of the definition. And again, I did a Linda Berry type of border. And I started writing the borders, and I'm bleeding through. No, I guess I was really. So this is their language. I don't know if you can see. This is their language, and they call it ADLEM, and it's an acronym that translates to the alphabet that will prevent a people from being lost. And that's what this acronym stands for. And these are the letters, and I wrote out the letters of their alphabet that these guys invented for this language. And one of the reasons for written language, and of course we have cuneiform, which was one of the earliest Sumerian languages, and that has to be it, was for the purpose of taxes, to communicate basic information about crops and taxes. That's where the Sumerians started to write stuff down, to keep track of crops and to tax people, of course, right? So I copied this, and then I did like a thought web, and I started using different, and I think that's where I stopped doing the Linda Berry style. But
and you are such an interesting person. You know so many things.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think so.
Well, this is fast. I'm inspired to go back to this and continue to kind of do it in the style of Linda Berry. Yes. All right. You're going to come in on Fridays. Yes. You and Lori are going to split up that time slot. That's going to be so cool. She also has this book on making comics, and look at that. Isn't that hysterical? I don't know if you can see it or not.
Wow.
It says drawn and quarterly instead of drawn and quartered.
That's cute.
Celestial. And we did the one exercise on Friday with Lena. And that was fun. I did that, and I did it in another composition notebook. And I don't know what I did with that composition notebook, but I drew the monsters, and that was funny. I did that. And so if you're not familiar with Linda Berry, I don't know whether there's a third book or not, but she recommends another book on comics, a guy that does comics too. But this is just, you could, as I said in Lena's stream, I haven't read all of this. You could read this every time you open it, you're going to find something that you didn't notice the last time. It's just that type of book. And the fact that it's in a composition notebook, being a fan of composition notebooks. Oh, see, no, that's not. I would have my kids use composition notebooks when I was teaching. That's what they needed from my class, was an old-fashioned composition notebook and a pen. And the nice thing about a composition notebook is the pages can't fall out. That's the theory. They can't fall out, and you can't lose them. And of course, Walmart has them on sale when school opens. They're like 50 cents. You can buy them for 50 cents. And yeah, I'm playing along. And if I could find that, I don't know. I should have. I just found it. Just came across this I've got composition books all over the place. I just found this one today. So, but there's another one floating out here where I did. Where I followed we did the monsters, and that was a lot of fun. I'm just taking a quick look around here where that might If I can see it, I got shit everywhere. Sorry, folks. All right, moving along down the memory lane here. Um, let's go way back, way back. Ugh. Another one of Dee Dee's finds. I love it. How to Draw Your Beautiful Ordinary Life.
Oh,
And I was a sucker for this one. I said, oh, yeah. Again, I struggle with drawing, folks. But I haven't given up. I'm as persistent with drawing as I am with the jelly plating. So if you saw me last Sunday, I'm not giving up. I feel the same way about drawing. And I figured, worst case scenario, I will become the best stick figure drawer that there is out there. I will draw excellent stick figures. 373. Oh, is that how much they are? Well, I don't know how much they are when it's not school season. During school season around here, they're pretty cheap. So this is practical lessons in pencil and paper. And this one, I actually signed it. The drawing, I mean, I was very optimistic when I said this drawing book belongs to Ann C. Lahr. That's me, yes. And I wrote, it arrived Sunday, April 29th, 2018. So I was pretty psyched about getting this book. And it's a Flow publication, I do believe. Yes. And this opens up, you can open this up. And it's like a book cover type of thing. And let's see how far I got. You can see, well, cups and saucers. That's my attempt at drawing cups and saucers with a tea bag with a very, very short string. If you can see how short that string is, it's a little. So you're drawing the home, and there's some wobbly cups. I don't know why. And then I didn't do too bad. I drew this house. I drew that. That's not too bad. It looks like a house. And there's a couple of other things. Oh, I did this cupboard. Okay. So this is you draw your house. You look at a cupboard. You did some socks here. And a tea kettle. And so I'm copying this. So you see, I didn't get very far. But this is kind of again, this has a thing where you can open this up and, draw your house. And they say it's your turn. And then I as you can see, I run out of steam, but it comes with this is the flow part. It has these little thing that you can take out. And then there's something back here where you can make postcards. But this was not cheap. This was pretty expensive, but the paper's nice. This is real. I mean, the paper's to do this kind of thing. This is like watercolor paper, so they're not chintzy. Yeah, I love the houses too. And you got the little camper and the little step-by-step. So again, discovering this inspires me. Oh, here's some postcards to tackle it again. Oh, look, there's a little doll too. And I have a doll book that I started. So, I'll have to put her in there.
Cute.
She's naked. Right?
Well, I got my templates. Got my templates all done.
Oh, that's good.
And I'll put a ring in them. I took them upstairs earlier and I didn't bring them back down. So I'll put a ring in there so they'll all stay together, and then I'll have them right there. So I can throw this
book is not cheap.
one away.
This was $25. So, but 2018. Now I can go back to them.
Are you leaving things out so you'll remember to work in them?
Yes. And I'm reading what Mary Lou said. I can't draw either. A friend of mine who is an art teacher tells me everyone can draw. He says, I just need more practice. Yeah, I know. And I agree, but I don't know. This is another Dee Dee. And again, I'm very enthusiastic. You can see my sentiment when I got this book. This is a really cool book. Let me see if I can get this so you can see it. It's called Draw, Paint, Print Like the Great Artists. Not the stick figure artists, but the great artists. And you can see, again, Ann C. Orr, December 31st, 2016. Pretty excited to get started. This is my note to me. Thank you, Brenda. Well, I've been collecting them. Well, 2016. That's a few years ago. And I did actually, I got pretty far in here. I mean, I copied, Close Your Eyes. This is one of those automatic drawings, Close Your Eyes, and automatic drawing. And this is Joan Miro or Juan Miro. They've got famous artists in here. And experiment with mark making. And I actually, as you can see, I actually did a lot. And pencil lines. I don't know what I was doing here, but textures. So this, I did quite a few. This is graphite. And then Philip Gaston. And so this is my mother's, it's a clown painting that I've talked about before. And this guy was talking about painting something and then covering it over and starting all over again. Hi, Barbara Clock. And then this guy with these little, and these are mine. So you can see I did quite a few of these, probably more of these than anything else. Cutting out circles and triangles. And this is all cut out. I cut out all of these circles and triangles and then glued them down. And it actually comes with construction paper in the back. And so I did that. And then I copied that. But this book is, obviously chock full. And I did a lot of those. And this is cut out. This is cut out. And this is the black and white. It's just kind of fun to work with. And then circles. Who doesn't like circles? Everyone loves
circles.
I love circles. So here's some more circles that I colored in. And this, I'm feeling it. Oh, this is one that I did. I cut this. This is, and this is another one that I created with circles. And this is a circle. That came out pretty good.
It looks printed on there.
Yeah, no, that's me. You can see.
In the mirror, in the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is cut out, these dolls with more circles. And then Salvador Dali. And he does the calligram where you just have the shape and then you write in like Fido. Fido. Those are fun. Art games. They have a lot of cool art games. Oh, your hubby's watching the Masters. I saw that was on. Tiger Woods playing? Julie, I saw something about Tiger. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can't believe. So I started doing this and filling in, tracing the hand and then filling in with words. It's kind of cool. But this is fun. They've got some really neat art games that we could. This is the cat I did. And it's just meow. Lots of meows. And then there's another game where we couldn't do it here, but you fold it and each person draws something and then you pass it around and one person draws the head. And when you get done, you have a weird thing. But anyway, I did quite I did quite a few things in here. This is a fun book. painting and drawing, and a sword swallower, self-portrait. That's really hard. Self-portraits, cubism. But you got a little flavor of all of the great artists. And I didn't, but I think I got the furthest in this book of any
Yeah,
of the
you did a
books.
lot in that book.
I did. This book kept my, yeah. And then it comes with, again, paper. And I have some painty papers in the back here. I got a lot done in this book. This is a pretty, they have a whole bunch of these books. Tiger was playing. Oh, wow. Still has a slight limp. That accent that he had was amazing. What amazing doctors that he had. It saved his leg. He's still playing. Okay. Oh, this is the name of this is, there's a whole series of these. I have a whole, but it's Marion DeChar's Draw, Paint, Print Like the Great Artists. And I have another one that I got after I got this one, same author. Let's Make Some Great Art. And I think this was a Dee Dee inspired too. See, you see how I'm no longer writing out, claiming this book as Ann C. Lars. I kind of stopped. I kind of lost the thrill of the moment. I haven't done anything in this book. I just bought it because I like the author and I like the setup of the. Oh, that's not true. Look, I drew some hands.
Oh, nice.
Use a timer and draw for 5 minutes. Well, that looks like a hand, right? It's not too bad.
Looks like a hand to me.
Yeah. Attempt 1. That's after 30 seconds. That's not, try to draw a hand in 30 seconds. Second attempt. Huh. So when I did some faces, in here. And then, I love doing this. Draw the statue upside down. And that way, that's the woman that wrote Drawing on the Left Side of Your Brain, or and you confuse your brain because you're just seeing lines. You're seeing lines, so you're not seeing. So your brain's not telling you that this is a nude lady. You're drawing it upside down, and then you just copy the lines. And then when you're done, you turn it right side up, and you go, "Oh my gosh, I actually drew this." And that really didn't come out. But I have another. Yeah, but that's a fun activity.
It's kind of like when I used to do murals. When you get to the point where you're looking at it so much and you're standing close to it, first thing you do is you move back and look at it and see what's wrong. And if you still can't figure it out, you take a mirror, you turn around and you look at it through the mirror.
Oh, wow.
And you can almost always find what's wrong. It works really well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I really, poor Mona. Can you try to draw Mona Lisa's smile? Well, obviously not. I see. I did draw some smiles, but this last one kind of scary. I kind of screwed up Mona. But Leonardo da Vinci, he wrote in his notebook backwards. So can you imagine writing notes backwards? And then you'd have to put up to the mirror to see what his notes were. So I did some of the stuff in here, but again, a lot of neat stuff in here. Color in this vase of sunflowers using as many different kinds of yellows and oranges as you can make. Experiment by adding tiny amounts of other colors to your yellow and orange. And I have there's a fingerprint book that's just stuff that you do with fingerprints. Okay, $16.89. And I don't have to buy it because I already have it. Yeah, so you just put it in your, they're fun. They are fun. And yeah, I like her. I like her style. I like, the books, I like the way the paper feels, and the the things that they ask you to do. So I have the thumbprint one where you just do thumbprints and then you draw from those. So I like those a lot. I'm getting down to the bottom of the pile. Actually, I'm down to the last one. Not the last one I have, but the last one I was going to share with you. Enable me, enable me. Now, this is Colleen and Kathy. And they introduced me to Pam Carricker. And she's got a whole bunch of books. And this one has got 30 really cool mixed media things that you can do. And this is creating art at the speed of life. Woohoo! Speed of life. And again, a beautiful book with all sorts of activities. And I think, did I lose Deb? Oh, Deb. What happened to Deb? Ah, Deb, bummer. Did we lose Deb? Oh, no. Deb, send me a message. Well, thank you, Lena. Yeah, again, this is an ongoing thing. I've probably been buying, 2016, probably before that. How do we know her power? Did she tell you that? Let me see. Well, it's okay. Her power went out? I've got no message. Oh, she's in chat. Why can't I see her in chat? Oh, she's not showing up in this chat. Let me go on YouTube and see if she must be there, right? I have no idea what's going on. All right. I'm sorry, Deb Farrell. Deb. All right. When I type in Deb Farrell, I get Will Farrell. Where is she? She's not here. All right. Well, I can't even find her on YouTube. I've got Will Farrell. Okay. But she said on YouTube and see if she must be there, right? I have no idea what's going on. There she is.
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, that's from before though. That's not now.
All right. Hello.
Hello. Is that now or from before?
Let's see. Oh.
Deb? She said so. She lost her power, Ann. Okay, she's in chat.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened. The power just went out for about 30 seconds. Came back on.
Oh, okay.
It's really windy here today. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I was trying as fast as I could to get back.
Okay.
And now I'm here. Hi.
Yes.
See, you barely even missed me.
Yes, I missed you.
It took you a while.
No, I'm chattering along, and I think I have two of you open now. So let me close one.
Oh. No, one of these is plenty. Let's see, 8.5 is 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Whoop, now Ann's gone. Ann must have closed the wrong one. Oh, wait, maybe I did something here. Let me see. Nope, she's not here. Well, Come on back, Anne. Can y'all still hear me? Wow, there is a huge lag here. Yes, you can hear me. Okay. Well, I'll let her try to figure out what's going on at her end. She probably turned off the wrong one. So I'm working on this little journal cover now. And it started as a envelope. So here's the window on the back. And here's the little tag that goes in there. And then I put this on the front. Here's Anne. I have to put her back in here. Come on, Anne. Anne. Get in here, Anne.
I am. I've been waiting. Hi.
Well, I'm looking at the wrong place, I guess. Sorry about that. That was kind of ridiculous. So anyway, I'm working on this, and I'm going to put a closure on it, like this, and then this fits through here, and this wraps around the back, so it makes it a little bit, not that far. It makes it a little bit expandable with this, because you could slide it underneath this as far as you want to go. So okay, Anne, go ahead.
No, that's a great. I was just, yeah, I think that's a great closure. That's kind of, and it
Well,
really.
I saw it. Where did I see it? I want to say on Nick the Booksmith, but it might have been somebody else, because I've been watching a lot of people the last few days. So I thought they did it with leather. I thought I would try it with paper.
Okay. Are you going to use little brads to hold that in?
Yes, I am. As soon as I can get them out over here.
Okay. That's kind of neat, though. That's a nice, and it has a nice look to it.
Yeah, I haven't used it. I haven't done this. This is the first time I've tried it. And obviously, this is just a small, it's just going to be a small one signature journal. So it's not going to be huge. So I thought, well, that's a good time to try it. And I have a bunch of leather too, stored over in a box. So if this works, I might,
Now you're going to have one signature in that little journal?
Yeah, just one.
And how many pages will be in the signature?
Probably just depends on what I use, but I'm going to say probably 15 sheets folded in half is 30 pages, or actually is 60 pages. So that'll hold a lot. It just depends. If that's too much, then, I can make the spine a little bit bigger. It's not stitched or anything. All I have to do is add more things if I want to add more bins, if I want to put more in there. It's plenty wide enough. So
is that folded in half, or is that two separate pieces of substrate that you've put together?
It's folded in half.
Okay. All right.
It's an envelope with I started to say calligraphy with collage on it, and then covered on the inside with a heavy piece of cardstock. This is pretty heavy. So and that's
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you up there, little girl.
Well, this is the last one and I haven't done anything in this one, but there's 30 incredible. I mean, making your mark, and so this would be something that might be fun to do. On a Sunday where I would say, okay, I'm going to do the Cubist cutouts, because I love to cut and paste, and scrap paper, acrylic paint brushes, ephemera such as scrapbook papers, maps, and book pages, tracing paper, bone folder. Who was looking for the bone folder? Carol was. Black permanent. Blending stump. So that would be kind of fun to do. But again, they're not too overwhelming. And when I say that I don't think they're too overwhelming for me, I mean that means they're pretty not overwhelming. If that makes any sense. Some of the other ones I found overwhelming, but again, it's a beautiful book. And this was Colleen and Kathy Berg. And this was
Well,
very expensive. Well, again, I'm looking at, yeah, this was $26 and $30 in Canada.
I've come across a design problem here. Because this is raised up.
Hi, Janet.
So if I put my thingy here, when I go to put this through it, it's gonna get stuck. So now I guess if I put a piece of paper over this crack, then that might work. That's what I'll try. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm not. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like, I'm not done, but I can show you. I don't want to, let me show you. Well, I can do something. I bought some more stuff.
You bought some more stuff?
Not books, ephemera.
Oh.
But these little bits and pieces. But let me grab. This is the book that. Oh, I got my kitty cat. Oh. This is the book where I've been putting my some of my what do you call it? Jelly plate prints.
Oh yeah.
And I thought I would add the ones that we did, all of the ones that we did in the unexpected ones, like this one.
I tell you, I love that black one right there.
I know, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was trying to clean it. But this is definitely going in this book for sure.
Hi, Janet.
But I don't know what I was doing that produced that. Obviously, I was trying to clean something.
Well, you were trying to clean it so that you were trying to use the liquid paint that's thinner.
Oh, the high fluid?
The fluid, and it didn't work, so then I suggested you just pull it to clean the plate off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what came up.
Okay. Because it started to bubble a little bit, I think.
Right.
But and I ended up with 2 of those.
Yes, because you tried it first just with the fluid, and the second time you tried it with the fluid acrylics and matte medium mixed in. Remember?
Oh, gosh, you have a great memory. Oh, mackerel.
Well, it only happened a couple days ago.
Well,
after that, forget it.
Yeah, and here's the second one.
Yeah, you should have 2 of them. Look similar.
This one had a little gold in it. Also tends to happen with new plate. No, this plate's not new. Color shift. Yeah, okay, you'll get crazy on the plate. No, I don't. Yeah, this one came out. I'd like this had a little. I have color shift, but I didn't use it. And this one.
So, Mariah, when that happens, what do you need to do? How do you condition it to where do you just clean it with oil or whatever to get rid of that?
Well, Mariah's plate today looked like it was brand new. Her plate today was as clean as the baby's. Do it. Okay. So this was a semi-successful pull. You can see something there that's almost. Oh, that's probably why it looked like a new one. She was using a new one. There you go. That explains that mystery.
I got my butterflies ordered. I was enabled.
Okay. And this is the other one that was semi-successful.
That I think is pretty interesting. I like that.
Yeah, this one, except for I hate to buy another plate, but that would be my 3rd one. But I'm going to glue this in because this is worthy of this book, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. I like it.
And so I'm actually going to get out the wet stuff. Oh, you got some of the butterfly stencils? Is that what you got?
Yeah, I ordered some
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
yesterday or day before. I don't know.
Now I'm assuming you guys design that and then you have somebody to cut them for you. Is that how that works? When you design the stencil and then you have, or you have a machine that cuts them? Because they are so intricate. What? 11 or 12? Oh my gosh. That's a lot of plates. That's impressive.
Yeah, but that's mostly what she does, right? So,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. That's,
what are you doing? I have to look around, make sure somebody didn't do something in the floor.
uh-oh.
She's tired of me being down here. She wants me to come upstairs, I guess.
Well, my phone dinged this morning and it was Carol. And so I got up and joined her. But not before I had cat puke to clean up.
Oh my.
Yeah. Hairballs.
Oh.
I guess it's, she's shedding, right? It's springtime, so that means she's ingesting more fur.
Yeah.
Even though I give her cat food that's supposed to keep the hairball formation down. Right? She's constantly cleaning herself, as she is right now, as we speak. I guess it's better than having a clean cat than a dirty. Oh, you have 2 circuits. Oh, wow. Cut and design. Oh, wow. You do it all. That's impressive. I was often wondering how that was done. But that makes sense. So you've got all the software and all that neat stuff that you need to produce your own. That is amazing. That is very cool. Did you know that, Deb?
Yep, I did. Well, I didn't know what they had, but I knew what they were doing it themselves. I figured they had a Cricut or a Silhouette or something.
Does everyone do it that way? That's how ignorant I am. Or do people?
I think people that sell their own and make their own do it.
Right. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah.
I mean, I could make my own if I want to because I have all the equipment. That's for sure.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got all the equipment.
You got all the toys?
I got all the toys, but I'm not a graphic designer. That helps.
Oh, okay.
If you want to get the really good stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's something I want to make a stencil of, I can do it.
Yeah, I make stencils too, but they're like stencils of squares and circles. I can make some really good square circle stencils.
And I know how to make the SVG files to, do pretty much whatever I want.
Okay. What is an SVG?
Oh, it's a type of file like a PNG or something like that, but it's a different kind of file, and I can't remember what it stands for because I am not a graphics engineer.
Well, because
someone who is a graphics designer probably would be able to answer that.
Well, I know on Graphic Fairy, they have SVG files and they have
files that you can use to cut with.
Okay.
It's one of the things you can do with them. That's what your machines usually require. They be a SVG file.
Oh, so that would be for people that have a circuit thingy.
Right. Or some kind of cutter.
Okay. So the PNG files, well, a lot of times if I copy an image from Graphics Fairy and put it into Google Drawings so I can manipulate it, when I go to print it out, the background is always black. I can't get it.
You have to, I do know the answer to that. That's because it has a mask. You have to go up into whatever program you're using. I use Paint Shop Pro most of the time, or it's real old one, or I use Adobe Photoshop. It's also very old, but they work. So,
Here it is.
and you just go in there and you bring up the mask, and that takes away you load the mask, and it takes away the black and makes it so that there's a translucent. Is that the word I want?
Yeah. Transparent.
Transparent background. Yeah.
Okay,
See, I knew she would know.
Yeah, there it is.
Knew what it
Scalable
was, I just
vector
can't
graphics.
remember. Yeah.
So that's something I wouldn't be able to do with Google Drawings because that's not that robust of software. I know I can go in and click on the picture and then go down in Google Drive and change it to like a PDF, but that doesn't get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing about Graphics Fairy. I always have to do. My old computer used to have some kind of a little program in it that I had to download that would automatically do that for me when I opened it, but I don't remember the name of it and I can't find it anymore. So I just do it every single time when I want something. I know just enough to get myself in trouble. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, because I find it, it's great to be able to copy and put it into Google Drawing and then be able to resize it. But then when you go to print it out, then you have that black, and that's not so cool. I was wondering if there was, and let's see, PDFs, EPS, and native all files can also be vector files. Okay. Now, vector just means like like little squares. Is that what a vector means? Like a little squares of stuff? I'm assuming vector.
I think a vector is a scalable image.
Okay, scalable, meaning you can change the size of it?
Right.
Scale, I'm assuming.
And it won't lose anything. I think.
Okay, it won't lose its clarity or sharpness.
But once again, I'm not the expert, so that's just what I think. I used to know some more about these things, and I don't deal with them anymore much, so I forget. I forget things if I don't do it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Every time I go into Photoshop, it's like learning it all over again because I forget.
Yeah. Well, Photoshop is pretty,
Oh yeah,
I'm looking if there was a Photoshop for a Mac, but there really isn't. So
if I were using it all the time, I would remember. I used to be able to do. Digital scrapbooking instead of paper.
Oh wow!
So I was able to make my own. Like if I wanted a bow or something on the page, I could do that. I don't know if I could do it now. It'd probably take me a long time to go back and remember what to do.
Learn that, yeah.
But it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I just don't have that time anymore.
Right.
Or don't want to use my time for that anymore.
Right.
There's so many things you can select from people like PM Studios and
right.
who know what they're doing and already have done.
Right. Well, in Graphic Fairies, they have a whole bunch of Photoshop images that you can, in tutorials with brushes. They give you brushes. Is that something?
Yeah. See, I used to know how to make brushes. I don't know how to do that anymore. I'd have to go back and study and all that and figure it out again.
As you said, there's no reason to.
Well, once in a while, maybe. I mean, if I was making digitals or something to sell or whatever, then it might be worth it. But that's just not what I want to be doing. I want to make stuff.
Yeah.
I just like to make stuff.
Well, but
it's nice to have it there if I want to go and do something,
Right. Well, here's one of my, I guess, ombre pools from last Sunday.
Wow, that must have had a lot of metallic in it.
It was metallic paint.
Yeah. That's something. Huh?
I can do this real well.
On
You just,
tissue paper?
yes, it's a Dollar Tree tissue paper, exactly. I learned this from Robin McClendon. This is what she was using.
I was real happy with my roll-offs and some of my
Hmm.
rolls. I've been using them all week.
I did some with a while back. I did some with alcohol inks and stencils, and they came out really interesting. Again, it's like everything else. Not that I didn't give it a fair shot last Sunday, 2 hours,
Yes, you
but
did. See, I haven't tried doing that because it just seems like everybody had so much trouble with it. I figured I'm not going to put myself through that.
well,
Just stick to the stuff I can do easy.
I'll try again.
Are you gluing that totally down or just along the edges, or what are you doing there?
Well, I'm just gluing it down.
I mean, is it solid? What am I trying to say? Totally glued down to the
Yes,
paper? Okay.
I'm trying to. Yes, and I don't mind the wrinkles and stuff. That doesn't bother me. You're gonna, because it's that tissue paper. For $1, you get a whole bunch of it. Thank you. Let's see what else I got here. This whole book was kind of, and then like another black. Yeah, I gotta read this down. I love the black ones. They came out so cool.
Yeah, I like that page right there. I love that page.
This one here, I made this a while ago. Yeah, this was just panty papers, torn into strips. And not actually, this right here was a pull, a jelly plate pull that cleaned the plate. You can see
I love this. Look how this turned out.
Oh, oh wow, and that looks like real leather.
Well, it's just paper, but you can do it with leather. And see, you can make it as tight, or you can loosen it and put more stuff. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
it looks great.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to decide if I want to do that on all those 20 journals I have. I don't think I do. It wasn't too bad, though.
That's good advice.
I did have to put a little strip under here so it would go ramp over this edge. Otherwise, it would have been sticking there every time.
Oh, okay.
But you can't really tell, and it works great, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yay, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Mariah gave me some good advice. If you're doing quick pulls, the Dollar tissue is great. Keep in mind, if the paint starts to dry or you do a dry pull, the tissue might not handle it. Yeah, well, I can see where that could be.
I think one of the things that surprised me the most when I started watching them doing, PM Studios doing their, I always leave out artist. I'm sorry. I had to try to remember not to leave that out. But one of the things I really was impressed with is that she was leaving those papers on there overnight. I thought, how's that going to work? But I guess once the paint is thick enough and it all bonds together, and if your plate is conditioned correctly, then it works. I was real impressed by that.
Oh, I didn't realize. The printing, when Patricia was printing, she would put the paper down and leave it overnight and then pull it the next day?
Yeah, she does it all the time.
Wow. Now, obviously, she must put a lot of paint.
Well, I was watching that the other day. It doesn't look like she's putting gobs of paint on there.
Huh.
But I was very impressed with that. I thought, wow, how in the world? How's that working? If I leave it on there 5 minutes and try to take it off, everything sticks.
Yeah, yes.
I think it's my plate. I think my plate really needs some attention.
Well, my plate's a mess, and I can't. I've tried it. It's just it's a fright, as my friend would say. My plate is a fright.
But I was impressed by that. And
Now,
I always love-
is that a Mariah? Is that like a common technique for some to leave it overnight like that, or is that just something that Patricia has developed over time? Is that her thing? Or is that
so when you leave an image to dry, then come back. So here's the reason. When you leave an image to dry, then come back with a layer to pull what has dried. Oh, so you mean like leave it without the paper on it? And then come back and put the wet layer and then pull that? Or do you mean, see, I thought she left the paper on there.
well, that would make more sense
Overnight.
if you just put the tape and just let that dry. The layer to dry, and then adhere to that image.
I misunderstood. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. If you leave the pull layer to dry, it will then adhere to that image. But you want the paper with the pull layer of paint.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I'm losing something in the translation or something.
Whoops.
Okay,
Oops.
step 1, you have cool grunge plus a stenciled image dried on the paper. Okay. I got that part.
Okay.
Cool grunge plus a stenciled image dried on the paper. Not on the, okay. Put down a layer of paint over the dried image and grunge that you love. Yes.
Step 3, get the paper down on that wet layer of paint. Okay.
Finally let it dry overnight. Pull it all. Okay. At number 1, I think she meant image dried on the plate. Yeah.
On the plate. Yeah.
Yeah, I have done that, basically.
I think
Not pull it overnight. I mean, but not let it dry overnight. So I got to do that part.
I think they talked about, they gave the name of these 2 jelly plate artists. I think the one guy's last name was Yates. I think that came from, I think I heard about them from P&M, and this guy was doing, I mean, he was scratching, he was doing all sorts of stuff to his plate that I would never think you could do. And he was kind of like almost doing a painting on the plate. It was like, I can't even describe.
Well, we tend to think that this is all new, but it's been around for a long time.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I don't know how long jelly plate, but as long as gelatin's been around, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people have been printing. Oh, hi. Good night, Mary Lou. Thanks so much for coming by. I so appreciate it.
Bye, Mary Lou. See ya Thursday, maybe.
Have a good evening. Yeah, that black and white is really cool. I should do something celestial on this page. And I have some celestial ephemera that I can put on this.
I need to go dig through my collage file and use some of that stuff so I can
Oh,
empty that file out.
I don't have a collage file. I have collage in every drawer that I own. I mean, everywhere.
Well, this is
I'm,
a little a box with a that you put hanging files in. So
oh, okay. Hi,
I've
Janet.
already, I've already cleaned it out once. I need to do it again.
No, I have. Oh. When I first saw cage fish and learned the word collage, I never looked at a magazine the same way again, ever. And I subscribe to magazines just for images. And now I'm not subscribing to any more magazines. So that's going to force me to route out, rummage through. But I continue to buy ephemera. But this is celestial. So I have some celestial stuff that I'm going to put on here. I can just see the stars and I'll show you.
Considering that page was pretty much a mistake, I really like it.
Yeah, well, it was a cleanup, but it was not. Well, it certainly was not planned. I probably would not be able to do this, replicate that again.
I think
Which
you
is a
would
neat
because you
thing
did.
about-
I think you
Oh, I
would
did.
because you already did it.
That's true. I made the same mistake twice, and you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, but apparently I didn't. I did
Well,
it.
and it's not necessarily a mistake.
No, I know.
If it does something good, it's not a mistake.
No, I can't honestly say I didn't do it on purpose.
Just
But
a
see, I
happy
have some-
happenstance.
I've got some celestial deco paper that I couldn't live without.
Okay, Mariah, thanks for answering us.
Yeah, thanks, Mariah, for your input. Okay, you're listening and folding laundry. Yay.
What time is it?
As long as you're not ironing.
30 minutes, Ann.
Oh,
As long as you're not ironing.
well, I ironed one summer. I couldn't get a job. I mean, I was desperate. And I took in people's ironing. That's how desperate I was. I was ironing people's neighbors' shirts.
Yep.
But it was some
Honest
income.
work. It's honest
Yeah,
work.
it certainly was. And I did dinner parties, meaning I bussed the tables and did the dishes and such like that. Babysat.
Well, we're going to have our 50th anniversary this year.
Oh, congratulations. That is impressive.
More than you know.
Huh?
Poor guy, he's put up with a lot.
You hung in there.
Well, he hung in there.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Like I said.
Yeah, my parents had their, then some 50th and then some. Had a big gathering. Everyone flew in from all parts. And of course, there was a major snowstorm in the Northeast.
Hi, Janet.
So
There's Janet.
finally arrived late, like 3:00 in the morning. And then the next day was the 50th anniversary dinner party. And then the next day we all flew out again. It was.
Oh.
I remember driving to the Buffalo airport, knowing that as soon as knowing that when I got there, the airport was going to be closed. That was just a given.
Oh.
So I have some celestial stuff here. I don't know if you can see.
I feel like I'm taking an awful long time just working on this one little thing, but it's kind of special. I like it.
Well, that's good. If you like it, that's what
I'm
matters.
really so impressed with this closure. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's kind of neat.
to be such
mean,
a
it
simple
really-
thing. when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, why have I not seen that or thought of it before? It's real simple.
Yeah, the closure I made for my funky fish journal. I made a boat cleat. It looked like a
Oh,
cleat that was on a boat, but I made it out of cardboard and I tied it like you would tie a boat, rope to a boat cleat.
my husband likes to tie knots. So he's always, well, he doesn't do it as much as he used to, but he learns to tie all different kinds of sailor's knots and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he made a whole bunch of different ones to put on in a big shadow box.
Oh yes.
And then I made the little labels for him and matted the little labels and everything. It's really pretty. He did
Yeah.
such a nice job.
Now,
always
did he
does.
shellac did he coat the rope?
No, because they're just little. They're just like each little piece of rope or knot, whatever. The little piece of rope is like, maybe 3 inches or so.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't really necessary because it was going to be in a chattel box, with glass.
Now, had glass over it?
Yeah, had glass
So,
over it.
so dust couldn't get into. I guess that's what I was.
Right. It's very pretty. He always does a nice job when whatever he's doing. I'm excited to see the swing when it gets finished. The last one was so pretty.
The what? I'm sorry.
He's doing a porch swing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'll be excited to see how he does it.
Yeah.
The last one he inlaid hearts in the back of it. The last one he finished. That was really pretty.
Yeah, I miss having a porch. Nothing like sitting on a porch.
Well, we have a front porch, a little covered. It's not real big, but it's just a little porch. It's covered, with a little fence on it or whatever.
Mhm.
It's big enough to put I guess you could put 1 or 2 rocking chairs there, but it wouldn't be very spacious. But you could put, there's a little bench on there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the patio, which that's a nice place for things. And then out the basement door, there's a concrete pad there. So that's where it's going to go, I think. Because as soon as we get the fence, as soon as we extend the fence, then I can go out there, out the patio door, let the dogs out there. I mean, the basement door, let the dogs out there and sit on the swing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little porch on my house in New York, and I made 2 Adirondacks chairs to go on the porch, and they turned out really. There was I sent away for the plans to make the Adirondacks chairs, so I made 2 of them.
Oh, you should go on my Pinterest. Yes, he is, Janet. You should go on my Pinterest and look at Don's woodworking or whatever that Don's wood shop or Don's woodworking. I can't remember what we called it now.
Uh-huh.
Look at the Adirondack cherry made out of the hockey sticks.
Oh, wow, that would be cool.
It was very cool, but he said he'd never make another one because the fiberglass is horrible.
Yes.
It's all
What do you mean
over.
the fiberglass from the hockey sticks?
Yes, when you cut the fiberglass, when you cut the hockey sticks, the fiberglass is really awful.
Yeah.
That he didn't want to work with it again.
Yeah.
They sure
Fiberglass is
came out.
horrible.
Yeah, it came out really cool.
Yeah, these plans were made out of. I mean, when I went to the lumber yard, I knew the people that owned the lumber yard and worked there, and they always knew I was making stuff and tinkering around with. And I went in and I gave the guy John. I gave him the list of stuff that I needed to make the Adirondacks chairs, and he looked at me and said, "What are you making now?" I'm making an Adirondacks chair, and he said, "No." no way could you make an Adirondack chair out of this list of stuff. He said, so I made it, and it was narrow slats. And it had a curved seat, and it had like fairing strips, like 1x2, I think, or 1x3 strips. I can't remember, and 2x4s. It was an odd bunch of wood that you would, if you looked at it, you wouldn't say, aha, you're going to make an Adirondack chair out of it. Right. And it was some plans I saw in the local newspaper. And they had a picture of the finished thing, and I sent away for a couple of bucks, and I got the template for it. And I, laid the template out and cut all the pieces. I happened to have a big cardboard box, and I was able to lay out all of the pieces. Actually, it was the box that my radial arm saw came in. My father bought me a radial arm saw for my birthday. Goodness. And I put that whole sucker together by myself. That was quite fun. So
you feel quite accomplished when you do something like that.
Yes. I got down to the point where I could not loosen the nut that would put to set the blade. I put the whole thing together. Took me obviously hours upon hours on the floor of that garage. And I got to the point where setting the blade, and there was a nut that I had to loosen in order to straighten the blade. Could not loosen that, could not get that loosened. And I was so frustrated because I'd gotten so far.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had a neighbor, and this was a Craftsman radial arm saw. Unfortunately, I had a neighbor, a friend who worked for Sears. He was a repairman for Sears, and he came over, and he had the right tool to loosen it. So we were able to get that squared away.
The last big tool we got was, as far as I can remember, was a big, oh, my word, what's it called? A saw. The big saw that cuts with the big round.
Well, it's a radial arm saw.
No, not that. It's oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of what it's called. Well, anyway, that's what we did.
Table saw?
No, it's a
jigsaw.
Yeah, well, what is that called? Oh my goodness, I can't think of it. Can't believe that, but it's big and it's nice. And we went to Springfield, Missouri, to pick it up from the Granger store. I'll think of it in a minute. It's just how my brain goes.
Well, when I started making stuff,
bandsaw, that's what it is. A bandsaw.
Okay, yeah, okay. When I started making stuff, that's when I started buying tools. So that's how the tool collection. I made my son a Lego table, so he could play with his Legos, but it was low. It was like a Lego table for a little kid, and it needed a. Now I can't think of the name of that thing. Oh my gosh. The thing that you use to, put grooves in wood, grooves and finish off. Oh my gosh. What the name?
That's well, isn't that a table saw?
No, a table saw cuts wood.
A router.
Thank you, Aunt Bex. Yeah. Thank you. That's it. A router. So that's when I ended up with a router.
Routers are pretty cool.
Yes. And when I moved to Florida, I got rid of all of that. There was no room for routers and table saws in Florida. So I sold it. Yeah, router. I acquired the router and then the radial arm saw, and there was a couple of other things. Variable speed drills.
I have a good grief, I can't think of anything right now. I have a DeWalt. Is it DeWalt? I think it's a DeWalt. The little saw that cuts designs out.
Yeah, jigsaw. It's got the little
No,
blade in it, and you can scroll work with it.
scroll saw is what I have.
Yeah, scroll saw.
Which is different from a jigsaw. It sits over there. Gets used once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got all these little mini tools. I have mini saws and mini sanders and a mini router attachment. And I got all those when I was working on gourds.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Well, I couldn't live without a Dremel. I mean,
Yeah,
I bought an off name, not it's a Dremel like tool, but I couldn't live without one.
I have my old Dremel, and then I have a newer Fordham, which I use when I'm doing jewelry and stuff to polish and drill holes, and they're a lot more expensive.
Right. Have I used it? No, but I have one.
I wanted this one for a long time, and I put off getting it, and then I just decided I was going to get it, so I did.
My father had a Dremel, which I got rid of when I was cleaning out after he'd passed away. I never thought I would be doing this kind of, and because he built clocks, he bought the big kits, but he built grandfather clocks, and and he had a whole Dremel. And I said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll get rid of that." And then you know how that goes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
The Fordham
nice.
is really great for drilling because I sometimes in the past I've made jewelry using shells, bullet shells.
Yes.
And it's great for drilling holes, and then also when I'm doing making metal jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a jeweler by any means, not by any means, but I do like to use copper and make kind of, jewelry, and I use it for that.
Yeah, my friend makes jewelry, and she'll bring stuff down for me to drill little holes in, the shells for her.
About 15 minutes, Anne.
I'm just gluing away. I know this is. Oh, okay. You use Ben's Dremel. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, goodness. Sometimes it's a good idea to look at the back of your paper and make sure it's not something you want.
Well, one year for Christmas, I put together. A friend of mine was a shop teacher and carpenter, and he had helped me. I put together toolboxes for both boys, and got a nice toolbox and put the basic tools that you would need: hammer, level,
right,
pliers, the basic stuff. And both boys still have that original toolbox. And they said that was the best gift ever. It's a
good thing to do for girls too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you there.
I think we actually gave our daughter a big Dana tools one time, because she's the one around their house who does stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, my husband, my ex, didn't even know what a hammer looked like. But
I always tease my son-in-law and say he's not very mechanically minded, but I still love him because he can sure preach.
yeah, there you go. So he's got other skills.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing that my grandfather couldn't design or build.
Yeah.
And my father, again, didn't know what a hammer was, but.
Excuse my sniffing.
What?
Sorry.
That's
okay. I still got this silly head cold thing going on.
Oh, wow.
I'm tired of sniffing and snorting.
worked for a carpenter, when I was younger, and enjoyed that, putting in windows, and I learned a lot from that guy.
All right, I guess that's all I'm going to do to this until I get some paper dyed.
Did you see who was doing that? Who did that today?
I didn't see anyone doing it today. I only watched a little bit of stuff today.
Oh, you made Ben a tool set when he was 4 proper ones with a hand drill. Oh, that is so cool. My grandfather had the old hand drill. Yep, I had one of those. I mean, it was my grandfather's. He had some really cool older tools. My first power drill was a Black & Decker that I bought with S&H stamps.
Oh.
So that dates that. Filled up those little books and traded those in.
Yep. My mother was a heavy smoker, and she saved Raleigh coupons.
Oh, okay.
Coupons. And I counted those things and counted those things to see how many she would have all the time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah. I have some of those S&H stamps. Someone gave me some of those in some, ephemera thing, with the that was a big deal. Save those up.
When I first got out of school, I worked at a company called Merritt's, and I worked in the what they call the National Bank Department. And what we did was we had to type pages and pages and pages with like 3 or 4 copies attached of numbers.
Oh,
and what our department did was companies like Ford or International Harvester or, like people like that, companies like that, they would have these programs for their employees to where they earn points for stuff, all different kinds of whatever the company had their points. And we took care of keeping track of all the points. And we had catalog that they could look in and pick out gifts from to buy with their points. So that was, I hate typing numbers. I never liked typing numbers. I could always type fast, but not numbers. And of course, that was before you had the keyboard. You had a typewriter, and
right.
You had to, if there was any corrections to be made, you had to make them right there on the paper yourself. No computers, It was something.
And I can't imagine just typing numbers because, usually when you learn to type, you really don't learn to type. I mean, I guess you do kind of. I never really learned where the numbers
They don't really spend much time with.
No, they don't emphasize learning where the numbers are,
Right. But and that's why I hated typing numbers. But they had these girls, they had like 3 or 4 girls. There was probably 20 of us in there typing, and each one of us had certain accounts. I think I had like H through J or something. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But and then they had 4 girls. All they did was check what we did.
Oh my God, how boring. Oh, Lord.
I know. So you always hated to see one of the girls come into your desk because you knew you had to make corrections. It was terrible.
Oh, Lord, that's awful.
Oh, I learned how to make corrections on a typewriter, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's right up there with being a bank teller. Oh, yep. Before calculators. There was one, I think I told you the story. There was one adding machine in the whole bank. We literally did all the transactions on scrap paper with pencil. We'd have a stack of scrap paper and a pencil, and we did all of the figuring by hand. And there was one adding machine, and that was only used to enter interest on savings accounts. And then, you'd have to prove up every day, but they allowed you could either be up to $10 under or $10 over, and you would be considered that you proved up.
Oh, wow.
And one
after I left there, at some point I had another job, and then I worked at Sears, and I worked in their bank. I guess I can't remember what they call it, the bank department, where people would come in and pay their bills and stuff,
Mhm.
And so you had to balance out your drawer every day the same way, and they would cash checks and stuff too. That was in Key
Sure.
West.
You were like a bank teller for Sears. Yeah.
Exactly. And one time I came up $100 short in my drawer, exactly $100.
Uh-huh.
And whenever that happens, you don't throw the trash away, you don't throw anything
Right.
away until
Mhm.
you figure it out. You have to figure it out what happened. Otherwise, you've stolen that money, basically.
Yeah. That's why you're bonded. Well, at least I was bonded. You probably
Yeah.
were bonded too.
Well, we had the keys to the big safe and everything.
Yeah.
So it was pretty nerve-wracking if you came up short. And I think we looked for like 5 days trying to figure out what my mistake was
Mhm.
or what had happened. And finally we figured it out. Some guy, whenever he had signed his name on his receipt that I kept, he had signed his name, and part of his signature exactly went over the one on the amount. So it looked like, instead of $150, it looked like $50.
Gotcha.
And
I
it
showed
just-
$1,000 one Friday. It was $1,000 short,
Ugh. It has to be
And-
something.
and couldn't find it, and so we stayed after the bank closed, and we looked and couldn't find it. So I left for the weekend. Came back on Monday morning, and there was the auditors and the police were there,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I was, it was a horrible weekend,
Yes.
just terrified. And it turned out again, that particular Friday, I was in charge of bringing in all of the cafeteria from the local schools, the cafeteria receipts. They came in the canvas bags,
Yep.
and I added an extra one, making it 1,000, making it like 1,500 when it was only 500.
Yeah.
And that's where the so the $1,000 was not money that was lost. It was again an entry error on my part.
Right. Yeah.
But I was terrified. But that was a horrible
Yeah,
weekend.
I was too. Another time I was working with another gal at night, just the two of us there. And whenever you end your day and you put your money in your own bag and put it in the safe, the other person who's working with you is supposed to check it and make sure it agrees with what you say.
Right.
Yeah, Janet. And everything was fine. Came in the next morning, and the other girl had $20 missing out of her bag. And I had checked it. I counted it, and it was the same as what she said. And then she took it and put it in the safe. Well, they never proved it, but I know that she took the $20. I know she did.
Wow.
There's no other answer, because I counted it, she counted it, and it was the same amount. And I always count it 3 times because I know what kind of mistakes I can make. But yeah, it was pretty bad. They never, she didn't lose her job or anything. They never approved anything. But I just felt like she had taken it. This was bad. Okay, so now that's ready for paper whenever I get it. I made the spine a little bit bigger. So she's done. Let's see. Bring these out.
This is a stamp that I carved that I put down on one of the jelly plates.
Oh.
Mickey Mouse. Okay. Got that. You like detective work? Yeah. I don't like it when it was. And I was. Yeah, I'd gone on with my husband, the guy that I was engaged to, I guess at the time. We had gone to Montauk on a camping trip with some of the students that he taught at this institution on Staten Island, and I just obviously I was very distracted, could not think of anything but $1,000. I couldn't figure out how I screwed up, but I did. Here's some other paper. These are I made a while ago. That's a stencil. Now I have to go back and now I'm thinking what I did. I covered most of the celestial stuff. That wasn't too bright, was it? It's a good thing I have a second one, right?
Yeah, it looks good though.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's kind of busy, but it works. It's all celestial. That's one of these little ephemera things.
I really enjoyed using these roll-off papers and some of the other papers that I made Sunday on these envelopes and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess what I'm going to do.
This is not quite right. I don't want to stick that down. This is another one that I pulled at half a one. Little Gold Men. That one came out good. That was red. That was a red ad in Vogue.
Huh. That's amazing. It comes out like that.
Yeah, that one's pretty interesting. I don't know what this is. Whatever it is, it didn't. The other side wasn't as successful, but I could put that there. Put that down. Just fill this with. I got some whales. You know, when you see this stuff, it's 200 images, and then you get them, and I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting for what I paid for 200 images, but I mean, these are kind of. I don't know whether those are stickers or not. It's got a glossy back. We were talking about in Carol's thing this morning about the art of like engraving or in vellum.
Oh, para
yeah,
something? I forget what it's called.
Paganoma. That was pretty interesting. And I tried scratching on some, kitchen parchment paper. That wasn't successful. That was a bust. But when you see something like that, and I kind of, there you go. Pergamano. I Googled it, and that Pergamano goes back to like the 15th century.
I think kitchen parchment would be too soft to hold anything. It has to be a little bit stiffer.
Thicker, yeah. But that is kind of a cool. I mean, who thinks of that? Oh, you have friends that do that. I mean, who says, I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper and I'm going to.
Well, they probably just figured it out whenever they were writing on it, and
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And they were scratching on it or something.
Pergamano.
I
have to remember that word. I forgot it.
And Janet says she has friends that do that, and she didn't know what it was called. That's interesting.
Oh, that's crazy. Things keep falling.
We can, take our hands and put our hands on the wall and blow berry juice around, and then you have your first meeting. Right?
What did you say about berry juice?
Well, they found the pictures of the hand impressions in the caves.
Oh.
And they would put their hands in the cave and then, chew up some berries and then spit berry juice around their hands and then remove their hands, and then that left the impression of their hands.
I thought you said I'm going to have to get some berry juice to put on here.
Oh, no. Oh, it's like, I'm going to spit berry juice on my. to do ancient art in the caves of, yeah, okay, feels like medieval illuminated lettering. Illuminated, yeah. It's beautiful when you look at it. It's gorgeous. And then I guess you punch little holes in it. It's almost like a felting type of thing action that you.
Well, Ann, it's that time again.
Well, Deb, we've blown through another 2 hours.
I've enjoyed it.
Well, I don't know about our viewers, but I appreciate everybody hanging in there with us as we do our thing
I
every
guess
week.
I'll see you next week, same time.
Same
Maybe a
bat
different
channel,
channel.
same bat channel, or my channel, or your channel. We'll figure that out
Yeah.
somewhere along the lines.
Yep.
Maybe see you
Thank you,
Thursday.
everyone, for coming by and hanging out the whole time. Wow.
Thank you so much. I appreciate. We'll both appreciate all your support and love. It's
Yeah.
just a wonderful. It's really beautiful. So.
Well, we like to have fun and be calm and just relax. So hopefully you had some of that today. And I guess
And
we'll say
maybe
bye
you
for
were
now.
enabled to buy. I know Barbara Clark bought some of my books, so I feel my mission has been accomplished. Nothing like passing on the enabling bug to others. Once
That's
you're
right.
bit, you're bit, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, Deb, for hosting.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.